I have just recently become a consultant in geriatric medicine, and I'm also a researcher at University College London. Well, I was a junior doctor for 12 years, and I spent all of that time training in lots of different specialties, but all throughout, my main interest was getting experience and training in both for clinical practice for care of older people, and also research training in how to understand better the problems of older people. We would look after people with heart attacks, with stroke, with pneumonia, with falls, with brain problems, and anything and everything would come under our remit. And I'd be managing a team of 3 or 4 other junior doctors and a whole load of other nurses and other medical specialties for the minute-to-minute care of people overnight through the front door. Minimum 12 hours on the actual shop floor, but with briefing the day teams at the beginning and at the end. It's being on the ball all the time to make sure that nothing slips through the net, to make sure that that you can preserve the continuity of care as much as possible, and that people get the same care at whatever time of day that they come in. It's actually quite hard to switch off, and yet you must actually get some rest before the next onslaught, and do it willingly, do it gladly. It's actually very, very stimulating and everything that I wanted to and want to be involved in, but it does come at a personal cost. Junior doctors are juggling shifts on a day-to-day or week-by-week basis and trying to make sure that there's enough cover at home. I've had to work in a variety of different hospitals in a variety of different locations, and not always were we able to live together with where my family lived. In the most extreme cases, if I was doing a run of nights as a medical registrar, often I'd just have to stay in that hospital because it would take too long for me to commute back after nights. To actually then be rested enough. So I'd be away for weeks at a time. And our training contracts sometimes will run for 5 years, 5, 7, 8, 9 years. And so again, over a decade, we're sometimes struggling to manage personal and family lives. The time that I'm not there means that my wife has to pick it up, the excess. And so my wife is as much affected by my being a junior doctor as I am. The contract is the latest in a series of things that have led to a gradual erosion of our ability to do things to the best of our ability, and that's what I think my colleagues are most worried about. We work over and above, and we're very efficient as a result. I think that's what's why we can be proud of the results that the NHS has achieved. Any outpatient clinic, any radiology list, any operation list, it's always, how can we add one on? How can we get this person through? What can we do better? And how can we make this better for this person? Never ever worried about remuneration, personal remuneration for delivering the best care. The current successes of the NHS have been absolutely driven by highly motivated, highly skilled junior doctors that will be the leaders of the NHS in the future and will be dedicated to delivering a lifetime of healthcare for the nation. Academic medicine is the research that people undertake throughout the NHS and throughout the university system to improve our understanding of disease, so improve treatments and outcomes for patients. For me to have done that, I needed to take time out from my clinical training and train alongside in research techniques alongside my clinical practice, and that takes longer time. And it was something that I felt was really important because it would make me a better doctor, and by being a better doctor, I'd also be a better researcher. The two are really interlinked. That whole process is being threatened by the proposed contracts. I think it's clear that there's a high risk for a brain drain because the ability to actually do research as a junior doctor is completely dependent on you being released from your clinical duties in order to inform the research, to actually undertake the research more effectively. And if the number of people available to actually even be junior doctors is ever smaller, then allowing other people the time to undertake research is going to, those opportunities will vanish. If research is seen to be better supported in other countries, which we would easily be able to work in, for example, like Australia and New Zealand, Canada, and also in the United States, then the prospect of actually undertaking effective research there'll be no reason for us to stay in the UK. Which is a great pity, because medical research is one of the things that the UK can be proudest of and has the biggest impact, a huge impact on our economy for the better. And at the moment, we attract people in to undertake the best research. Whether or not that's sustainable is highly questionable.